So I started in real estate at 16 years old, and me not having that much knowledge, literally like 2 months into the game, I almost got sued. Hey, what's up, guys? This is Victor Agbo, aka Vic Realtor, aka Vic's Chicken, aka your Columbus Realtor, and we are back in a different environment, and not even just a different environment, but I'm actually doing a different type of video today. Today we're going to do a little bit of a story time about how I got into real estate at 16 years old and how I almost got sued literally like 2 or 3 months into the game. So let's get right into it. But before we get into that, guys, remember, if you are interested in any buying, selling, investing, relocating, anything real estate, guys, my contact info is in the description down below. Let's get right into this. All right, guys, so starting off, I kind of want to start the story by talking about where my interest for real estate came from. I was about, and I said this in my other video, speaking on my first year as a realtor, but I was about 15 years old. It was summer of like 2021, I think. So this was COVID times, and during that time, you know, TikTok just started popping like crazy. And of course, me being inside all the time, I was scrolling on TikTok all the time. And through that, I saw King Kong. Shout out to King Kong. He is a wholesaler, right? And I saw that people wholesale real estate. At the time, I wanted to be a pilot just because I love planes, I love flying, I love everything about planes and traveling. It's super cool to me. And I was just gonna be a pilot, and they make around 100K a year. They make good money on average. But I saw that with wholesaling, you could be making like 20, 30, 50K per deal. So when I first saw that, I was instantly like captivated, like, okay, this is like something that young people are doing, that I'm watching young people do, that I could do, that I could use to, you know, build wealth, or, you know, to buy a car or whatever. I didn't know what I was looking for at the time, but all I knew was that there was another way to make money that wasn't necessarily a job. So through that, that's when I started digging into real estate. And that's when I started to learn, you know, I started following, because that's when all this entrepreneur stuff really started blowing up. That's when I started following, you know, a bunch of big pages, like Max Maxwell. Started following like Chris Cron, Ryan Pineda, sorry. And that's when I started learning all these things about real estate. And I started to realize through all that studying that real estate was actually the #1 way to build wealth. So when I realized that, like, that was just like a pivotal moment for me. And King Kong, the reason I always reference him is because he's the one that I really like consider actually doing real estate. So from that, I started, of course, studying a lot of real estate, not just on TikTok, but on YouTube, Instagram, all social media. Basically, I followed, one thing I did that should also help everyone else is I flooded all my feeds on everywhere with just real estate stuff. And after doing that, that's when I started to get, you know, I started to click on some links from the channels I followed, and eventually, you know, one thing led to another, and I was invited to a real estate meetup. Yeah, so that's when I got invited to my first real estate meetup. And that meetup was it was like a multifamily mindset thing. I think that's what they're called. And they were really teaching about multifamily, like big 30, 40, 50, 100 unit apartment complexes, that they syndications, basically. That's what they were teaching about. So I went to that, and one thing I leveraged, I was 16 at the time when I went there. One thing I leveraged was that I was young. I always leveraged the fact that I was young, and I'd go around and I talked to everyone I talked to everyone at that meetup, and they were also impressed that I was like the youngest person in the room, and that I was actually trying to get into the real estate game. So from that, I met I think I got like 4 people's numbers, all investors. And one of those investors actually wanted to mentor me. So shout out to him, he knows who he is. And he mentored me, and he was a wholesaler. So I was like, okay, we're in the game now, right? I remember I was so excited that day. I was so happy. I was telling my sister, like, I had goosebumps when I came home. I was telling my sister, like, I really might have just like opened up a new path for my life, like just today, by meeting all these people and getting a mentor in real estate. So that made me very, very happy. And from then, we started to work together. What he did when he first started mentoring me was he sent me a list of a bunch of like potential home sellers. Like, these are people who are like high equity, and then maybe like, I think it might have been like a lower income neighborhood list that he sent me. And I was cold calling. That was the first thing I did. I'd actually go through and I'd call every single number on that list. And when I tell you, starting out, that was so hard because it was so uncomfortable. For me, cold calling was just like getting cussed at and getting cussed out and being new to real estate at the same time and being young. That just all made me so uncomfortable with cold calling, but I did it. You know what I'm saying? I did it. And through that, I actually landed a deal. I landed a deal with this guy, and this guy, he had 2 lots, right? So the house was it was one lot, but it was 2 houses on one lot. Okay, so I landed a deal with this guy. I called him. He said he was interested in selling to us, and like I said, we were wholesaling, so we weren't technically going to be buying the place ourselves. So I locked it up for a specific price. I don't remember. I think it was like 160,000 that I locked it up for. Yeah, I believe it was like 160,000 that I locked it up for both properties on the lot. One of them was a 1-story, probably like a 800 square foot, and then the other one was a 2-story, probably like a 1,100, probably like 1,000 square foot. So 2 houses on one lot, and I locked up both of them for a package deal for $160,000. All right, now these houses were in need of rehab. I didn't know how much through pictures online. Of course, we looked up the addresses on like Google, and we had I forget what that's called, Google Maps, to where we could look at it online. So what I did on the phone was I actually set up an appointment to see the property in person. The guy, he had a lockbox, so we didn't necessarily, actually no, he didn't have a lockbox, but he gave us permission to go and see the home. So we really literally just hopped the fence. We literally just hopped the fence. So at the time, it was me and my friend who were at the meeting and worked with my mentor, but my friend couldn't make it, right? And it was really just me cold calling, and my friend would run the numbers. So my friend couldn't make it, so I went to see the property by myself, actually. And through that, I jumped the fence, and I was checking out the properties. The grass wasn't cut. The properties, I want to tell you guys, I was expecting 160K to be decent. The first property, the smaller one, it was to the left when you're first facing the front of the lot. Okay, that was the 800 square foot one, 1-story. That property was gutted. Like, I mean gutted. That property didn't have a floor. It did not have a floor. I was looking at the dirt in the ground in the property. That property was completely gutted, and I was not expecting to see that when I went in. I've never seen, think about it, I'm new to real estate. This is me 2 months into the game. So I've never seen a property even like that in my life. So seeing a gutted property for the first time was just like, what the heck am I even looking at? I'm looking around, I see the roof, I'm seeing the sunlight come through the roof, I'm seeing the dirt in the ground, I'm feeling the wind come through the walls. Like, this is crazy. And I'm like, okay, I locked this up for 160K, and this property is already not looking like, 160K-ish or even 80K, which is half of that. But at the time, I also did not really have an understanding for what rehab costs would be at all. So I'm just here looking at the property like, okay, this is what we're dealing with. I step in, I see all that crazy stuff, and then I step out. I walk around the back of the property, and he has like a boat. Voice crack. He has like a boat, and he has like a car. Yeah, he has a boat and a car and a shed with all this like mechanical stuff, and it's all just disorganized all over the place. Like I said, the grass is super long because this property was probably left alone for gotta be like at least a year. Like I said, completely gutted, and you could tell no one had touched it in a long time. So I'm, just chilling, walking around back, and I see that, there's all this stuff on the property. And in my head, I'm wondering, okay, is this guy gonna keep all these things, or is he taking them with him? Is he taking them with him when he leaves the property, or when he sells it to us, right? So, okay, I walk around right back up the front of the property to the other front door. Like I said, the smaller property was to the left of the lot when you first, are facing the front, and the other 2-story property was on the right. So I'm now walking to the front door of the right, and these are both codes, so he didn't have to give me any keys. I never met the owner in person for these properties, so it was both codes or whatever for both doors. So I unlocked the other door, I walk in the front door, and I was low-key scared. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, I was low-key scared. I had never been in a distressed property, so I'm looking around, there's no lights and everything. It looks like a horror movie, like really. There were water stains down the walls, the electrical wires everywhere, the floor was dusty, there was furniture in there, and it smelled weird. I don't even know how to describe it, kind of like a peas-ish smell. I don't really know. This is from what I remember, it being like 3 years ago. But I was walking around and I remember I stepped in the front door and I was kind of just nervous. Like I didn't want to go. And all right, I'm back, guys. My phone was tripping out. I guess it's really hot here in Columbus, Ohio. But anyways, I remember I was walking in. I didn't really want to go any further. And I didn't say this, but my mentor was actually on the way to see this property with me. He had something to do, so he was going to be a bit late. But I remember just being scared because I had never seen a property like that in my life. I looked in there was like water seeping down the walls. The floors were dusty, spider webs everywhere. Like it was just looking crazy, and it was super dark. It was at like 3 p.m. So it wasn't dark outside, but inside the property was super dark. So I was like just kind of uncomfortable and didn't want to go there by myself because think about it. I was young at the time, 16, and I had never seen a distressed property like this. But you know, I ended up building up the courage and I actually went inside the property. I remember when I first stepped in through the front door, I took a left and I saw the owner suite, and there was a bath and also like a bed all in the same room. So I don't know if somebody had broken down a wall or just brought a random bathtub in the owner's suite. I couldn't tell what was going on. Again, I didn't really know much about how properties were laid out. So I was just looking around like, okay, this is interesting. Walked back to the front door around that area, which is the living room, which was right in front of the front door. The living room had access to the front door, is basically what I'm trying to say. And I walked back there and I remember dodging all these spider webs on the way there too. And from the front door, I walked straight. I walked just straight ahead, and that led me to the back of the property. All right, so my phone kept overheating, so now I have to hold you guys up. But anyways, where was I at? Because I was literally yapping for like 10 minutes until I realized it was off. Yeah, so essentially I saw all those spiders up top and I was like, this is just not worth it. So I turned myself around, went to the front, and I'm waiting for my mentor. And 20 minutes passed and my phone is dying, actually. Voice crack. My phone is dying. Like I'm literally like on 3%. So I call my mentor and I'm like, are you on the way, dude? Because my phone is dying. I don't really have much money to Uber home, and you said you'd be coming to see this property. So he's like, yeah, I'm on my way or whatever. Another 10 minutes, he pulls up in his yellow Ford F-150 and he couldn't hop the fence. So what he did was he actually pulled up his truck bed to the fence and he got on top of his truck bed and then he hopped over the fence, and the dude like almost broke his leg. You know what I'm saying? All props to my mentor though, because he really made it happen, even though I know it was not easy for him. So yeah, we're walking, you know, through the thick grass, which is uncut, like I said, because this property was untouched. And we reached the front door of the smaller property on the left of the lot when you first go in. He's already looking at it like, like, you know, kind of suspicious when he first walks up to the property, right? And I open the front door for him, and he's instantly like, oh no, Victor. And I'm like, oh no, what? Like, what you mean, oh no? And he's like, Victor, oh no, like, and I'm just in my head nervous because this is my first deal. And mind you, I forgot to tell you guys, when I say 160, we offered 160. We were in contract already for 160. I forgot to tell you guys, we were in contract for $160,000 already on both of these properties. So he's like, oh no. And I'm already nervous because we're 5 days into the contract, and I think I gave it like 30 days until we closed on it. Or closed on it because it was a wholesale, if you guys get what I'm saying. We wouldn't actually be closing on it, but we'd be transferring the option to purchase to another buyer, which is an investor. So we're already like, you know, 5 days in, and I'm just nervous as heck because I'm like, what does he mean no? He doesn't tell me, but we just, you know, we exit the property after he sees all the gutted floors, the holes in the roof and the walls and all that stuff. We walk around back. Like, he really took the same path as me. So we walk around back. He sees all the stuff, like I said, the boat, the car, all the mechanic materials, like just scattered everywhere. And he's asking me, you know, is the guy going to be taking this stuff with him when he leaves? And I'm like, I don't know. I'll contact him, whatever. And then we pull up to the front door of the second property. And, you know, he looks through and follows the same path as me. Like I said, he walked in, he saw the master bedroom and the bathtub in the middle of the bedroom, like, you know, confused because he's like, what is going on? And I'm like, I don't know, dude. I really don't know what I got in contract. And then we walk around to the back. He sees the electrical panels, like, yeah, this will need full electrical, looking like full plumbing too. And because this guy, he's experienced. He's been in the game for 10, 20 plus years. So he knows, I don't know. So I'm just taking whatever he says, you know, for as gospel basically. So I'm like, okay, he's gonna need full electrical, full plumbing. What else? We walk upstairs and he sees the spider webs. He decides the same as me, because we can see it with our eyes. We can already see the hole upstairs. So he's like, okay, it's not worth going up there. So, we walk out the property and instantly he's like, Victor, I think this will need about $70,000 of repair. $70,000. So like I said, $70,000. So with that, let me give you guys some context. We had it in contract for $160,000. We had an ARV, which we thought our numbers were not that good, because that was our first time doing it. It was actually me and my friend doing it. I don't know if I said that earlier. It was me and my friend. He couldn't make it, so I went by myself. So we actually thought our ARV was $225,000 for both properties. And he was talking about repairs of $70,000. So I'm already knowing, okay, our numbers are way off. And my mentor's like, Victor, are you going to be able to talk this guy down? Because we're in way too high for our contract price. These properties won't get wholesaled if we can't, talk them down. So he takes me home again, because my phone was dead. And instantly I get on it. I think that day or the next day, I called the owner. And me using my barely developed cold calling skills, I'm trying to talk him down, and I actually lowballed him. That was the advice my mentor gave him, was to lowball him. So I lowballed him for like 45K, and I really wanted like 70, 80, 90K, probably like 80K, around that range. So I lowballed him 45K, and the guy's like, nope. And I try my best. I talk him down, and I got him to 110. Which was actually pretty surprising now I think about it, because prior to that, I've done like no negotiation with anything ever. So I talked him down to like 110, but our numbers were still kind of like, close for it to be a wholesale deal. Because with wholesales, you're gonna need a lot more equity, because you're the middleman. So there has to be enough for the middleman and the end investor to eat. If not, then it's not gonna work. So we were pretty close on numbers. I talked them down to 110. And I went and called my mentor back, and he's like, Victor, I don't know if that'll be enough for us. Like, I really don't know if that'll be enough. I don't think we might be able to pull this off. I'll shoot this over to my investors, but you need to do your best to also market it to investors, or I don't think this will work. So he shot over to his investors. He also gave me a list of his investors for me to reach out again as well, myself personally. And I also looked for other investors that I could find. And we're looking for investors, and time is passing. Like I said, we had about 30 days to get this done. So time is passing. And I think we reached like the last day, and no, it was like 2 days before. 2 days before we closed, I'm pretty sure. And I could not find any investor. He could not find any investor that wanted this deal. So I was like, all right, what do I do now? And I went to my mentor, and he told me, just let him know we're backing out because of inspection. So I was like, okay. I went, I emailed the guy because I was too scared to call, honestly. And I emailed him, I was like, yeah, we're terminating the contract because it's not satisfactory to our inspection. And, I didn't hear from him. It was, the 2 days passed, and we're officially at our proposed close date. No word from the guy. And I was like, okay, I'm clear. I'm figuring out that deal didn't work out, but I was able to get out. We had $1,000 deposit, but it was refundable. No. We had $1,000 deposit. I'm trying to think. Actually, I don't think we did any earnest money or anything of that sort. I don't think we did. Yeah, I don't think we did any sort of earnest money or anything like that. But so basically, oh my gosh. Basically, 2 days passed. We were at a proposed close date, and I'm thinking we're free and clear and we're good. I think it was about like 5 days later, I hear from this guy, and I see an email from him because I know it's him. And I'm scared on my mind. Like, when I tell you, my heart dropped instantly. I was already on a call with my friend, so he was there too. And my heart dropped because I seen that email. I was like, I hope this is nothing bad. I opened up the email. I read the first line, and I could already see by his tone, this guy was not happy about what we just did. He was mad. He was angry. He was like, first up, the inspection conditions were not specified at all. And I could have sold this property cash at a higher price to somebody else. You guys wasted like 30 days of my time and this and that. And I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, because I didn't know what I was doing. So I'm scared out my mind. And he texted me as well after emailing that, letting me know I'll be hearing from his attorneys. Imagine that going through a 16-year-old's head with no money, who's in real estate, working with hundreds of thousands of dollars of investment properties. I'm thinking my life is over, like in that moment. Like, he's about to sue me and for everything I don't have because I literally had no money. And I was scared. And I remember I did not tell my parents. So if my parents are watching this, you know now, but I did not tell them, like, at all. So he's telling me, no, I'm gonna hear from his attorneys, and he was upset. I don't think I replied to the email. I asked my mentor what I should do, and I'm pretty sure he was like, just don't reply. And I just literally did not reply. I was waiting to potentially hear from his attorneys. So that was me. Like, imagine that. Like, I remember just being so scared of what was gonna happen to me because this guy was trying to sue me for wasting his time getting properties in contract and just dipping, because I really basically ghosted him. I sent him an email letting him know we're terminating, and that was about it. So I'm thinking I messed up big time and I'm screwed. So he let me know I'm gonna be hearing from his attorneys, and I give it a week, I don't hear nothing. I give it 2 weeks, I don't hear nothing. A month, I don't hear nothing. 3 months, I don't hear nothing. 6 months, I don't hear nothing. And I'm finally starting to calm down because I feel like I'm in the clear. And till this day, about 3 years later, I've not heard from his attorneys. I've not heard from anyone, and I did not get sued. Like I said, I almost got sued, but I did not. Like I said, I did not hear from him at all for 6 months. And when I tell you guys, I was still trying to wholesale, but that was the first and last wholesale deal I ever got in contract, because that instantly just turned me off to wholesaling. I was just fearful. I was 16 still at the time, and I was not interested in getting sued by anyone. So if you are starting out young in real estate, just be careful. Get a good mentor who understands what they're doing, and please spend more time learning what numbers are good numbers and actually studying your neighborhood, because we were just so eager to get a deal. Like, when I was cold calling and I got this guy, that was like after a week or two of cold calling and literally nothing, like no one barely answering to me having a lead. So we were just probably too eager, and because of that, we locked it up for a price that wasn't even really worth it. But yeah, I mean, just be careful, guys, because it can be hard out here. It can be hard, and as a young person, it can be very scary, because I'm under 18 thinking I'm about to get sued for something that I had no idea I was doing. So yeah, that's about it for this video, and that's the story about how I almost got sued at 16 years old, literally like a month or two into real estate. As you guys know, my channel's name is Vic Realtor. I'm still very much into real estate. I will be investing. I've helped my mom invest. I've helped other clients invest, and I'm gonna do the same myself very soon. So, you know, I'm still in the game, very much still in the game, very involved, and I'm hoping others do the same thing now as well. So yeah, I mean, just take your time, study your numbers, understand what you're doing. But yeah, that was about it for this story. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you do want to see more story times, I do have a lot of interesting ones. I have client stories, and as a realtor, I also have you know, just other stories in general. But yeah, I kind of plan on taking this channel in a direction of, you know, not just educational content, but some entertaining stuff as well, and some of the stuff that they don't teach you in school or in any courses concerning real estate. So yeah, again, guys, remember, if you are interested in any buying, selling, investing, relocating, anything real estate, or in Columbus or surrounding cities, oh my gosh, how am I forgetting my own motto or whatever. My contact info is in the description down below. And remember, guys, if you do like this video and you like this story, remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.